and welcome back to the Planetarium. My name is Houston. This month at the Planetarium, as you know, we've been talking about snakes. It's the right time of year for snakes. It's very warm. They are out and about and active. So we've taken a look at some of the dangerous snakes you may run across in Brazoria County, some of the harmless snakes that may resemble dangerous snakes, and today I have a few more harmless snakes to talk about that I think are very striking, and you should and that might interest you here as well. The first one is something that you probably recognize. You've probably seen in your garden. This is a ribbon snake. A lot of times called a garter snake. They are closely related to garter snakes, but we have this Gulf Coast ribbon snake. Very pretty little snake with a lot of yellow and black striping. One thing that you'd be able to see on any of these Gulf Coast ribbon snakes is this little white dot here on the top of their head. It's very diagnostic, and it helps you to say, oh, this is this particular kind of snake, with that little dot on the forehead and these yellow and orange and black stripes down the length of its body. These are cute little snakes, perfectly fine to have around. Oftentimes won't bite at all. And will go after insects and other arthropods that are in your flower beds. So that may be something nice to have instead of something to be worried about. Another couple of snakes you might run into in flower beds. This is the slide I call the tiny snakes. These are absolutely minuscule. We have the brown snake over here, and this is the earth snake on the other side. And both of these I call tiny snakes because they are generally only about a foot long or less. These are very slender, very small, almost resembling large earthworms. In fact, the earth snake gets its name because it burrows through the earth just like an earthworm, and to a lesser extent so does the brown snake. Often you find them in mulch and underneath leaves, but because they're such small, tiny snakes, there's absolutely nothing to be worried about. In fact, again, a beneficial snake. Oftentimes they'll eat slugs and snails and other garden pests that you don't want around eating the leaves of your plants. So they're very useful, they're very nice to have, the tiny snakes. This is a striking snake, and I want to point out right here, you can see this big round eye, this big round pupil. And this is something you can see on all of the harmless snakes. All of the harmless snakes that we have in our area have big round eyes, whereas the venomous snakes that we talked about before, they all have big eyes with slit pupils. But what that means is it's just a vertical line inside of their pupil, like this, forming the shape of their eyes that they can look through. This is a green snake, and green snakes in our area are often in trees. They like to be in vegetation. They like to climb through branches and things. They're very good climbers. They're not very big snakes. They can reach maybe 2, verging on 3 feet, but they're very slender and don't even eat anything very large. Their primary diet is spiders and other arthropods that they might find in the trees and in the branches and the bushes. But I think a very striking snake, very pretty. This is one of the most colorful snakes that we have around here. And I just look at the shade of green. It's a pretty snake. I like it. And then finally we have another of my favorite snakes. Now these are 2 different kinds of snakes, but they're very closely related. This is the coach whip over here, and this is a racer. This is a yellow-bellied racer, on the other side. And the coach whip and the yellow belly racer, the racer especially, they get their name because they are very fast. These are very fast slithering snakes. They can move through, they're typically in prairie or other open areas. And what they'll do is, unlike most snakes that we have around here, they'll slither through the grass, but doing something we call periscoping, which means that their neck, instead of being flat along the ground like this, is in fact is up and looking around, and they can slither like that very quickly. And these are very long snakes as well. They're not just fast, but they're long, and they can reach upwards of 6 feet, just like the rat snake. In fact, they vie with the rat snake for being the longest snake that we have here. Sometimes some people will say it's the coach whip, some people will say it's the rat snake. It depends on who you're talking to. But these, again, are very harmless snakes, nothing to worry about. I find the pattern on especially the coach whip to be very striking. It's sort of a little bit metallic in color, with some dark cross-hatching on it, and with these big round orange eyes that I find very intriguing. So, and that's the end of all of the snakes that we have here. We've gone through, I think, about 22 species of snakes, and that is about it for Brazoria County. If you have any more interest in finding out more about snakes, once the planetarium opens, we will have a display of some common snakes from Brazoria County that you can come and take a look at, and we'll be happy to see you here. Thank you.